Okay, we're here in K1 at the CIA, and we're going to make a beef consomme. First, we're going to take some egg whites. We have 10 egg whites. We're going to lightly froth them just to get a little bit of bubbles in there, stretch out the albumin proteins. As soon as those are lightly frothed, then we're going to move over here and we're going to grab our mirepoix. We've got a pound of mirepoix. We're using onions, carrots, celery, and a little bit of leeks, and some tomato concasse, some roughly chopped tomatoes. We're going to mix that together until all the vegetables are coated with the albumin, with the egg whites. Next, we're going to move over here and take 3 pounds of ground meat. We have beef heart that we've ground. It's nice and lean. It's full of flavor. We stir that together. Okay, now at this point, we've got the meat, the egg whites, the vegetables all mixed together. We're going to add our stock to yield 1 gallon of consomme. We start with 6 quarts of stock. It may not all fit in this bowl, but when we transfer it to the pot later on, we'll be able to add the rest of the stock. And we just want to make sure that we've mixed it together pretty well. So the consomme mixture, the clarification is sometimes referred to, pour it into a pot that will accommodate all the ingredients. We're still missing a little bit of the the beef stock, so we're going to add the rest of the beef stock in there. And now comes the first of several tricky stages. We have to adjust the flame so that it's not too high and not too low. Too low, it would take far too long to get anything to happen. Too high, you'd probably scorch the bottom. Some of the proteins, the albumin from the egg and the beef, are going to want to sink to the bottom, and they would scorch if the flame was too high. So what we're doing here is we're going to gently stir while we're forming what's called the raft. As the proteins in the meat and the egg coagulate, they rise to the top, acting as sort of a filter, catching all of the particulate in the stock, and they are actually what's doing the clarification in the consomme. We need to stir pretty much constantly and very gently until those protein particles start to come together and clarify. What I usually like to do is to stir in sort of a figure-8 pattern very slowly. And while I'm doing this, occasionally going around in the corners, because that's where the proteins like to hide and stick. While I'm doing this, I'm also feeling the bottom of the pot. I'm getting a baseline on what it feels like. It should be very smooth. It's a stainless steel pot. As this progresses, if it starts to become bumpy, if I start to feel things sticking to the bottom, I know already that I may have a problem, and at which point I might choose to change to a different pot before it has a chance to stick more and burn. Okay, so by using this sort of figure-8 and then slow around the edges as we bring the temperature up to a light simmer, it will fade out. We'll come back when the raft is beginning to form.